Before I tell you Atta's story, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked perfectly fine on the outside, but silently struggled with how you saw yourself inside? Have you ever hidden behind makeup, filters, or even silence because you were afraid people would notice the parts of you that made you insecure? This is not just a story about acne. It's a story about confidence, identity, pain nobody noticed, and the silent battles many young girls fight every day. This is the Skin Story series, and tonight I want to tell you the story of a girl who slowly disappeared. Welcome to the Skin Story series. Now, Atta was not always quiet. In fact, she was the loudest girl in the room. She was vibrant, bold, confident, the kind of child that would volunteer for presentations without fear. She danced, she laughed loudly, she answered questions in class. Teachers loved her. She was always among the best students. And she lived with her lovely mom, Nkechi. She would represent her school in competitions. She was like the star girl, the one everybody wanted to be. Then one day the acne started. At first it was just small pimples, but to Atta it felt bigger than that. She complained. She didn't know how she was going to face her peers. She felt bad. She went to school and she walked around with her head held down. She complained to her mom, but in the typical Nigerian fashion, her mother laughed and said, "Is it not ordinary acne? Everybody has pimples. You are growing up." So nothing was done. But the acne got worse and worse. As she grew, the comments started coming, especially in secondary school. "Why is your face like this? See her face. What happened to you?" Atta laughed outside, but inside something was breaking. The bold little girl slowly disappearing. She stopped raising her hand in class. She stopped making eye contact. She stopped talking too much. She would just sit at the back quietly, hoping nobody noticed her face. Even when she came first in her exam, she still felt ugly. That is the dangerous thing about low self-esteem. You can be brilliant and still feel unworthy. You can be beautiful and still feel invisible. Atta carried that insecurity into university. She was still intelligent, still hardworking, still exceptional. But while other girls contested for leadership positions, Atta hid. While others made friends easily, Atta stayed in one corner. Not because she was not good enough, but because somewhere deep inside her, she believed she was not beautiful enough. The acne scars had healed on her skin, but not in her mind. So she went ahead to graduate from university. Family and friends were excited. She got her first job and, she was good at what she did. But however, those ugly thoughts in her head still came to make her feel like she was in the wrong space. And even though she was one of the best when it came to doing the job, she always brought herself down before people even had the opportunity to do so. She always felt the need to please others because she felt like they were better than her for one reason or the other, which was a lie. Then makeup entered her life, and for the first time in years, Atta felt beautiful again. With makeup on, she could smile freely, talk confidently, take pictures blending. People complimented her, and slowly she became dependent on it because makeup was no longer just makeup, it became protection, a mask, a hiding place. Now, the hardest part of the day for Ada was always the evenings when she had to wipe up the makeup from her face and her insecurities came staring back at her face. And she had this biggest fear, which she had to talk to her mom about, which was, would somebody love me if they truly saw my true color? Because with all the makeup and the that that she had been using when she went out. She got all the attention from people, from men, but she was afraid that if they saw her face the way it was, then she wouldn't be good enough. Maybe she would lose the person. So she ran away from close friendships and commitments. What happened to Atta? We'll talk about this on the next episode. Make sure you send this to somebody that will enjoy this story.
Hello, my name is Dr. Chimsom. I'm a dermatology resident, also known as your skin and confidence doctor.
Part 2 of the story, and let's see how Ada, did she overcome, or did she